Well, this is the East Coast Nature Reserve. For it is closest to the coast, looking south towards Wicklow town, which is under those mountains, and there's looking north there briefly. And here are the glossy ibises still out foraging on the reserve, and they seem to have lots of food available to them, foraging very diligently, and there's still people coming to see them. They were a bit further away this time, so it was more difficult to get footage of them or stills, but you can see what they're doing, and there's still the same tree. There's for some reason only 3 of them, but there are others reported from around the country in larger flocks of 7 and 8 and things like that. So they seem to be coming in numbers to Ireland, and it's very strange for a tropical bird in the middle of winter. And I'm not exactly sure what they're feeding on. It could be some sort of worm. It must be, that ground will be very waterlogged. As you can see, the whole reserve is waterlogged at the moment, and there's lots of flooding, and that most of it seems to have happened in the last few days. And here are widgeon duck, which are the males are the ones with the bright coloured heads and the yellow stripe right down on the crest of the head. The females are pretty as well, but just not quite as distinctive. And here you can see a squabble, and a drake is driving off another one. Maybe it was getting too close to the female, but they're actually generally quite friendly towards each other. But it is coming into the breeding season, so maybe there's a little bit of tension now. But you can see there's a few females around. There's quite a large flock of them down there, and you can see them right outside the hide, the main hide on the East Coast Nature Reserve. And after he's satisfied at driving away the male, he's back up himself foraging with a female. And you can see that's the reeds down there, and there's a lot of them, and they're quite tall, and they actually hide quite a lot of deer. And deer, you can see where the reeds get flattened at night in some of the slightly less wet places, and that's where the deer come. And here is witch's broom, which forms on some trees, and it looks like a broom, but it's actually caused by a fungal infection. Very interesting. You see lots of it down on the East Coast Nature Reserve. And here's a path leading away from another hide, and there was a beautiful bird singing, and it was a song thrush. And song thrushes have extremely loud calls, as you can hear there. It was a bit hard to focus on it. It was on the very top of a tree. Here you can see where there are irises, the yellow flag iris, coming up for spring. And the hedgerows are looking a bit weak, but there's quite a few hedgerows, considering that it's a bog. And you can see Dunran Hill there, and there you can see the village of Newcastle. And here are loads of goldfinches and greenfinches foraging together. And if you watch, 2 of the goldfinches have an argument for some reason, probably males. There's a greenfinch on a feeder. They have an impressive set of feeders down there, and they're looking towards the sea, and that's where the railway is. Well, that's the end of this little video.